Here's Precal. This is a mini lecture for 3.2.1, and this is problem 3-22. It's one of the classwork problems, and this is using substitution. So last year we called it Graciella's method, and I think we were using the letter M, or maybe we were using A's. I can't remember. We probably weren't using U's. And sometimes I do revert back to using A's, but we're going to learn about U substitution. So you can go ahead and try this. The question, you go through the book and it says the student suggests rewriting the expression to make it look easier. I think they're being asked to factor this. So if I wanted to factor this, I would prefer it to look like, 9x squared plus 3x minus 2. So what do I have to do to make that happen? So I'm thinking if that was, I'm going to let u equal x cubed. Because I want this to be 9x squared plus let's say u. I want this to be 9u squared plus 3u minus 2. So I usually look at this middle term to help me decide what I want to let u equal. So we're going to do a couple examples. We'll let u equal x cubed. So if I rewrite it, if the x cubed equals u, then I'll have 3u and the negative 2 will be the same. But this would be, isn't u squared, or isn't x cubed squared x to the 6th? It's 2 times 3 is 6. So see how this makes it into a nice factorable problem? You're not being asked to solve. There's no equal sign here, but you're being asked to factor, and I hope that you remember how to factor things that have a lead coefficient that's not 1. So I use the box method. Let's get this a little closer. I use the box method, so I put the first number in the lower left, and I put the square term in the lower left, and I put the constant in the upper right, and then I multiply them diagonally to get my diamond for my diamond problem. And you probably still can't see that. And so 9u squared times negative 2, that makes negative 18u squared. I'm going to multiply to make this number and add to make the bottom number. So I'm thinking of numbers that multiply to make 18. Like you can see that I tried 9 and 2. 9 times 2 multiplies to make 18, but I'll never be able to add to 3, so I cross those out, and then I said 6 and 3. So 6 times negative 3 can give me my negative 18. So I'm thinking you already know how to do this, but I just don't want to assume. So I'm plugging these two numbers into my area model, and then I'm filling in the sides here, like 3u times 3u makes 9u. This one had to be negative 1 because 3u times something equals negative 3u. This one had to be 6. So these are the factors. So I wrote it factored. And then I have to remember to plug my x cubed back in everywhere I see a u. So I just simply plugged my x cubed back in. So that's how that's done. So then they let you try it, and they give you they give you some pretty hard problems in 3-23. So you've got one that has cosine in it. So I would be happy to factor this if it was 5u squared minus 9u minus 2. So I'm going to again look right here. If it was 5u squared minus 9u minus 2, I would be able to put that in my area model and factor it. So I'm looking here to see what I want u to equal. So I'm going to let u equal cosine x. And then so I just write it as 5u squared minus 9u minus 2. And then I'm going to use my area model box. I'm putting the square term in the lower left and the constant in upper right, multiply them together, make negative 10u squared, and you use this number to see what they have to add to. That says negative 9u. Then I try to find two numbers that make that happen. I put them in here, factor, and then I'm going to plug at the end. Once I have it factored, then I'm going to plug in the cosine x for u. So in your book, I don't want to completely spoil it, but I kind of want to give you ideas of what u to use, and then you can try these on your own. So I'm gonna so we just did this one right here. So I looked at that middle term and I decided I wanted cosine x to be u. This one, I think this might be fairly easy to figure out. If this was u squared plus 12u plus 20, maybe you could have a chance at factoring it. So let u equal 4x minus 1. This one, a little bit less obvious. If it was u squared plus 4u minus 12, that would be factorable. So I would let u equal 7 to the x, because this actually is 7 to the x squared. So you can talk about that and see if that makes sense. I would happily factor this if it was 4u squared plus 11u plus 6, but it doesn't look like it is. But again, whatever I wish it would be for me to be able to factor it, that's what I try to do. So, I mean, in a nice world, it would be 4u squared plus 11u plus 6. So I want u to equal x to the 4/3. And so if I do let u equal x to the 4/3, is this u squared? Well, you'll find out if you take x to the 4/3 and square it, you will get that. So I would let u equal x to the 4/3. And that's kind of all the advice I have for you. Good luck, and we'll talk about this when I get back.